So, good afternoon. Can you all hear me out there in the back? Okay. Good. So, this afternoon, what I'd like to do is to give you some tips and advice about what's coming up in year two in my What to Expect talk. You're also going to have a little short talk, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, from Vladimir Jankovic, who's going to talk to you about history of science modules that some of you might be interested in taking in year two. We've got Elizabeth Wilkinson down at the front here who's going to give you some advice about careers, how to improve your employability, what you need to be doing now to get the job you want when you graduate. And then after this session, in the Whitworth Hall, there's a change of degree program fair. So some of you might be thinking of changing your degree from, I don't know, biomedical science to physiology, or from microbiology, no, you're not allowed to change, ladies, to cell biology, or some such combination. So this is a What to Expect in second year talk from me, Nikki Hyde, the Senior Advisor. So, importantly, year two contributes 30% to your final degree. So the amount of effort you put into year two is going to really make a massive impact potentially on the overall degree class that you come out with. Year two looks different from year one. You still have tutorials, and they're still compulsory. You have to attend them. You're going to pass the tutorial module, the same as in year one. Also associated with tutorials are the data handling module, which you've again got to complete and pass, and the critical writing skills module, which you've again got to complete and pass. And together, the tutorial work mark and attendance mark, in conjunction with the data handling critical writing skills module, will enable you to pass the tutorial module. Also in year two, we're trying to get your writing skills up to scratch in preparation for writing a project report and a literature review in final year. So you'll be doing a dissertation, and the deadline for that is round about now in year two. So just before the Easter deadline, in fact today is the hand-in day for our current year twos to complete their dissertation, and that's worth 10 credits. So that's a really big component of year two. You'll have 8 lecture units to choose. Some of those will be compulsory units, but you'll have a lot of choice, and what you'll find if you're doing single honours degree programs is that once you get into year two, you can start doing course units which are really tailored to your degree program. Again, I'm talking about the microbiologists. All they've got is microbes, man, and the environment in year one. But in year two, it's a whole array of things, parasitology, virology, that they can take that's related to their degree program. And the same will be true for all the other single honours students. Practicals are obviously another major component of year two, and that there are 2 flavours of practical that you'll do. There's the EDMs, the experimental design module, and I'll talk more about those in a moment. And they run in semester 1, and then you've got research skills modules which run in semester 2. So just to remind you about the 30%. So tutorials. You'll keep the same personal advisor in year 2 and in year 3. So your personal advisor, who you've got now, will stay with you for the 3 years. If for whatever reason you and your personal advisor don't see eye to eye, there is a possibility that we can change your personal advisor. Usually we'll change to the person who's running your current second year academic tutorials. I'm the only person who can authorise that change. So if you have a problem, hopefully you don't, you come and talk to me about it. Within the tutorials, we run a science, ethics and society strand to try and make you think more broadly about science and its applications and our responsibility as scientists, if you like, to the world and world health, and how to carry out research ethically, how to run drug trials ethically. These are all the kind of things that you'll look at in that science, ethics and society strand. You'll also learn how to write your practical reports, so the EDM write-up, which is a big chunk of your semester 1 EDM mark. You'll learn all about writing that up as part of your tutorials, and your tutor will be marking that EDM write-up. Also, I mentioned before the data handling and critical writing skills, which you'll be doing. They're online components of the tutorial module that you need to pass. Also, critically in year 2, we're starting to make you think about what skills you need in the final year. So in your tutorial assignments, you'll start doing assessments and writing essays and doing data handling problems that are going to prepare you for your final year and the final problem paper and essay paper that you'll do in May, June of your third year. And also, critically, employability skills. So we'll help you write good CVs, we'll give you advice on good interview techniques, all as part of your tutorial module. So these are the practical components. So the first practical component you'll do in year 2 is the EDM. It runs in semester 1. Again, it's compulsory. So it starts off as a core module. So every single one of you will initially do exactly the same EDM experiment. So you learn core skills that are applicable to all your degree programs. You'll then be separated into 4 strands. So there's an organismal strand, a molecular and cell biology strand, a human strand, and a physiology and biomedical sciences strand. So depending on your degree program, you'll be put into one of those 4 strands that's most appropriate for what you're doing, what you're studying as a degree. Again, attendance is compulsory, and you know, if you fail the EDM, there is no alternative. So it's a bit of a tricky situation, so you've got to attend. If you don't attend, you'll have marks knocked off you, and that's not great. So you can't resit the EDM. So attendance and completing those assessments is essential. In semester 2, you do these research skills modules, which are really good fun. They run for 4 weeks, and they're really long. They start at 11, usually in the morning, run till about 5 in the afternoon, and you do them 3 days a week. At the moment, it's Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So for some degree programs, you'll have to do a specific RSM. If you're doing molecular biology, you'd have to do the molecular biology RSM. If you're doing cell biology, you do the cell biology RSM. So for those degree programs, getting on those particular RSMs is guaranteed. But for example, some RSMs are really popular. The clinical sciences RSM is really popular. It's oversubscribed. Biochemistry, anatomy, neuroscience, cell biology, these are all oversubscribed. So for those of you who can choose whatever RSM you want to do, so if you're a biologist, you can pretty much choose any RSM. If you're a biochemist, you've got a choice of about 2 or 3 different RSMs. There is no guarantee that you'll get your first choice. So make sure your second choice is one that you'd equally like to do. If you're doing plant science, zoology and biology, you have the opportunity to do a field course as part of your second year of your degree program. So zoology and plant science, I think the field course is compulsory. You've got to do a field course, but biology it's optional. So for those of you who are doing field courses, there's going to be an information talk on field courses on Friday the 18th of May, which you've really got to attend. It's really important that you attend that talk. But field courses, if you're doing them, what you've got to look forward to potentially is the tropical biology course in Ecuador. There's the ecology and conservation course in Costa Rica, alpine biodiversity in Italy, and there's urban biodiversity and conservation in the UK, which is a cost-free course. So all of these RSMs, these field courses, have a cost implication, and you've got to be sure that you can afford to pay for them before you sign up to them. Because as you'll find out in the talk, if you sign up to them, you're then required to pay for them. You can't back out on that once you've signed on the dotted line. So be really careful that you worked out. A lot of what happens is students assume that mum and dad will be happy to fork out to go to Costa Rica, and they go home and have the conversation, and mum and dad have had to have a new central heating system installed, and there's no money left in the bank, and they have to opt out of it. Now that is a difficult situation. So please make sure if you're asking your parents to cough up for one of these field courses, that you check with them first that it's okay before you sign and commit yourself to going. So you need to choose your RSM if you've got to make a choice or are able to make a choice. You need to fill out the online form by Friday the 13th of May. If you forget to fill it out, we'll just give you a default RSM choice. It'll be one where there's a spare space. Please make sure that you've taken all the requisite units for the RSM you're choosing, otherwise you might be disappointed. So read all of the handbook information. So the other thing you need to do is start thinking about what course units you want to take in year 2. So you can find out more about the individual units that are on offer to year 2 students by looking at the course unit selection area on your My Manchester. So if you click on that My Course tab there and click on year 2, you can search specifically for individual course units that you might be wanting to take, find out what's involved with them, what assessments are part of that course, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into before you choose that unit as one of your year 2 courses. So for all of you doing single degree programs, some of the course units will be compulsory and others will be optional. If you want to know what your compulsory units are, you need to look at the academic advisement sheet. So there's a link here to it, and this will be available to you on Blackboard in the tutorial area, or else you can go to the FLS online handbooks. And if you go to the very, very bottom, I think it's section J, there's an area there, if you click onto it, it will take you and show you, it's the blob chart, exactly what's compulsory and what's optional for your degree program. So before you choose your course units formally, and if you've got any questions about that, there will be program director clinics running from the 25th of April onwards for a week. So look out for an email from your program director inviting you along to one of those clinics. If you've got any questions about course units, or you're concerned about what combinations of things to take, then ask your program director at that meeting. Also, past leaders are a great source of information, and also your program rep for your degree program will also be a good source of information. So again, it's really important to choose good units that you're happy with, because year 2 makes 30% of your degree mark. So picking things that you're comfortable with, picking things you enjoy, make a considered choice is really, really worthwhile. And also the mean mark that you get in year 2 may affect the project that you do in year 3. Oh, I've lost microphone. It's gone. The batteries have run out. Right, I'll talk from here. I better put more batteries in, because I think otherwise the podcast is going to just terminate. Yeah, we're back in business. Good. Yes, so as I was saying, the mean mark that you get for your year 2 may affect the project allocation process in year 3. So getting a good mark is really important. So what this means is that, for example, if you want to do a lab-based project, if you've got 150 students wanting to do a lab-based project, but only 125 lab places left, then 25 of those students obviously can't get their first choice. And the 25 students who don't get their choice will be the ones that got the lowest average year 2 marks. So your year 2 mark, not only does it contribute to your final degree class, but it also could affect what you can do in 3rd year in terms of projects. That isn't always the case, but it sometimes can be the case. So what you need to do, once you've made your mind up about what courses to take in year 2, is fill out this online course selection form. There's a lot of information in the handbook on how to do this, and you'll be sent further details and instructions by email as well to help you complete this process. So all of your compulsory units, the mandatory units, you'll be enrolled in those automatically, so you don't have to do that. You just have to select the optional units that you want to take and upload those onto the student system yourself. And the deadline for that, well, this will open on the 18th of July, and you've got till the 8th of August to complete that process. And also bearing in mind that you've got a 2-week window. When you get back in September, if you start taking a particular course that you thought was going to be really great, and after the second lecture you think, this is absolutely awful, I can't stand 12 weeks of this, you've got a 2-week window at the beginning of the semester to opt out of that course and to change. So that, again, is something to bear in mind. So what you're choosing here, unless it's a compulsory module, is not cast in a tablet of stone. You've got a 2-week window at the beginning of the semester to change your mind. So some of you may be considering changing degrees. Perhaps you're doing biomedical science, but you hate physiology and love neuroscience, and you want to move more in that direction. Now is the time to do that. The benefits of changing degree program would be that you get the RSM of your choice. If you want to do the anatomy RSM, you can guarantee to get on the anatomy RSM if you're doing a degree in anatomy, for example. It will mean that you get an academic advisor, perhaps, who has shared interests, rather than somebody who has got like a generic group of people. If you're doing biomed, there's always a massive mixture of interests within the group. And if you're really a hardcore, particular degree subject area person, moving degree programs might mean you get a better tutorial experience. And also it could be that you enhance your career prospects if there's a particular branch of science that you want to go into. And maybe if you really love what you're doing and you do neuroscience and you just absolutely have a fantastic time, you'll end up getting a better degree because you'll be more inclined to study and more enthusiastic about it. One of the things you might not be aware of is that we've got a new degree coming online in September. So for the very first time, in September 2016, we're offering a degree in immunology. Okay, so if you're really keen on immunology, many of you haven't done any immunology yet, but if you think that's for you, you can move into that degree program from September. And there's a new immunology RSM that goes with that. So if you are considering a new degree program, what you need to do is go to your change of degree program fair and speak to the program director of that degree and let them know that you're interested, find out more about it, find out what it entails. So the degree program fair is taking place at 1 o'clock after this talk in the Whitworth Hall. There'll be past leaders there and course reps there you can talk to. Again, if you're thinking of changing degree program, you need to fill out the degree program change form, which Linda has over here, and get it signed by your personal advisor and the program director whose degree you're moving into. And this all has to be done by the 5th of April. That's really important. That date is cast in a tablet of stone, so don't miss it. Another new thing that you may or may not be aware of is the MSci degree programs. So this is a situation where you can convert your 3-year degree to a 4-year degree. So many of you might be thinking that getting a master's degree might be more beneficial to getting a BSc degree. So these MSci degree programs, you can move into them either formally in September, but the actual change really has to happen obviously by year 3. So the 3rd year of the MSci degree program is different from the 3rd year of the 3-year degree program. So that switch has to be made at the end of year 2 at the latest. So all of the degree programs that we run, including the new immunology program, there'll be MSci versions of those degrees. You need to get a 60% average in year 1 and in year 2 to progress onto the MSci. And if you're interested, there's a talk on Friday the 18th of March at midday in Stopford LT6 where you can find more about what these programs are all about. So the other 4-year degree program that we run is the industrial or with professional experience or the placement degree program, where basically you spend a year out either working in a university somewhere or working in a company, spending a year devoted to doing some kind of scientific professional training. So we've got some nice examples. We've got students in AstraZeneca. I visited one of my personal advisees in Madrid in February. We've got people in Salamanca. We've got people in the Mayo Clinic in Florida. We've got students in Nevada. Every year we send 4 or 5 students to MRC in the Gambia. And there are places more close to home. I've visited people in Unilever, which is not very far away, and Speak. Manchester Museum, don't get closer than that if you don't want to leave Manchester. But there are plenty of opportunities. So if you are one of our placement students, the reason I put confidential is that don't tell your friends in the University of Sheffield or Leeds or Leicester where you're going for your placement year or any of the information that we provide you, because we want to keep the placements that we find for our students. So from that point of view, they are confidential. They should only be shared with Manchester students. So if you're interested in doing a placement or you're really not sure, there's a meeting that's being held on the 10th of May. Now, It's absolutely critical. If you're registered for the placement programme, you have to come to that meeting, okay? It is compulsory. If you don't attend that meeting, and if you don't sign up the sign-up sheet, you will be kicked off the placement programme, okay? If you're thinking of transferring to do a placement and you're not sure, you haven't made up your mind, come along to the meeting, register for the with IE degree, so do a degree programme change form, register to do the placement, come along to the meeting, but if later you change your mind, it doesn't matter. If you don't get a placement or don't apply for any placements, you'll just automatically revert back to the 3-year degree programme. But if you don't complete the degree form change by the appropriate date and you don't go to this placement meeting, then you won't be considered to be on the placement programme. So please, if you're considering, even if you're only slightly considering it, it's worthwhile. I mean, one of the reasons for doing the placement is you get a fantastic opportunity to discover what real work, real scientific work is like. And that's going to give you an advantage for PhD applications and for job applications in the future. So yeah, 84% of employers expect significant relevant work experience, and doing a placement gives you exactly that. And for a lot of placement students, you get paid handsomely for the experience as well. So really worthwhile. If you're not able to do a placement, maybe your January exams didn't go as well as you'd like them to be, there are alternatives, so don't despair. You can do some volunteer work. There's work in the museum if you're zoology, biology, plant science. There's experimental grounds. You can also do some volunteering, and I'll talk a bit more about that, and I'm sure in the careers talk that will emerge as well. There are also summer studentships where you can work in someone's lab within FLS for 6 to 7 weeks, a paid placement. So most of the deadlines for those kind of studentship schemes will appear early in the year, January, February time, so you need to keep an eye out for the announcements for those. And maybe it's worthwhile, if you find an academic member of staff that you really like, that's related to your degree programme, asking them if they're happy to have a summer studentship. And some of those staff can apply for money to fund you for the summer. So it's worthwhile approaching staff members as well. So there's a careers area on the intranet, and if you click on the careers area, there's a whole wealth of information that FLS students can tap into. But I'm not going to talk about that too much because I'm conscious of time and I'm conscious that that's going to happen. Internships are another thing you can do. You can get good experience, so the university has an internship scheme that's specifically designed to Year 2 students, so look out for that early next year. So when you finish Year 2, you can spend a period of time working within the university in one of the faculties, usually in some kind of administrative role, but not necessarily. And again, that's a really good way to get some good experience. So employability is really important. So engage with the careers service, engage with all of these things, because you're all going to graduate with fantastic degrees from a great university. But if you're an employer, you're going to be bombarded with loads of people with fantastic first-class degrees, fantastic 2-1 degrees, all really, really good academic marks. Who do you choose to get that job? And the chances are you're going to choose the person who has some really good experience, really good work experience, has volunteered, has done a placement, has got an internship, because these people can demonstrate that they can hit the ground running. And that's what you're looking for. So having a good degree is the first step to getting the job of your dreams, but you've got to bolster that degree by doing other things to make yourself a really well-rounded person, the person whose application stands out of the crowd and it says, yes, I'm the one who's going to do this job the best. So think about that all the time. It's not just about getting a good degree, it's getting those employability skills as well. So again, as part of your degree, if you didn't do a placement, you're kind of not comfortable with volunteering in a sort of working out for yourself, you can actually encompass volunteering as part of your degree programme. So there are UCOL units, the Manchester Leadership Programme being one of them, which involve an element of volunteering. So you can get those skills as part of your degree. So in Year 2, it's worth looking at the Manchester Leadership Programme. And they're nice because These don't involve exams. They're usually continuously assessed work and usually some kind of essay-based assessment at the end, which is worth about 50% of the course. So these units are very good. They're good because they give you experience of volunteering and thinking in a different way. And also, if you're a kind of person who doesn't do well in exams, UCOL is probably the way to go because you get one unit where you don't have to do an exam, and that might be to your benefit. So there are lots of faculty-based extracurricular activities that you can tap into. You can become an ambassador. We're always looking out for ambassadors for our open days and for visit days when applicants come in for UCAS interviews. They're paid for. We pay you to do that. You'll get an email about that in the future, so if you're interested. We also recruit international ambassadors to help us recruit international students. You can become a program rep for your degree program, which is a really good position to have. You'll sit on the Staff Student Liaison Committee, shows taking responsibility. You'll be on the education board along with the other academic staff, so you get to find out what the management decisions are behind things that happen in your degree program. You might want to get involved in PASS if you've done PASS this year and it's been beneficial, or you think you could improve PASS. You've got some good ideas on how to make PASS better. Get involved with the PASS scheme and become a PASS leader. Again, it's a good experience, it's fun, it opens doors for you, and it gives you valuable extracurricular activities to put on your CV. Join the Faculty of Life Science Student Society, become a chair, a secretary, or a treasurer of some of the clubs that you belong to. The major point is just get involved. It's not all about work. So if you'd like to become an ambassador and get a red sweatshirt, look out for the emails and announcements. They'll be coming out presently. So we'll be recruiting for those over the summer. We talked about PASS leaders, and I think I will pass over to the next person. Vlad, would you like to talk about Chisholm, and then we can...
Hello. Nice to see you all. My name is Vlad, and I'm the program director in Biology with Science and Society program, which attracts people who are interested in science, but who also wants to learn more about science and do other things that are not directly related to the scientific content per se. So today, I'll give you a quick run through a second-year course of our units, 5 of them. Say a little bit about what we do and why we do it. So all of our units in general are meant to do a couple of things. Complement students' scientific program of study by looking at the historical, social, political, and ethical aspects of scientific research. Secondly, to provide understanding of the social relation between modern science, technology, and medicine. Thirdly, to develop the ability among students to engage with ethical consideration that modern science is marked more recently. And also give students transferable skills of research, writing, debating, and doing the public engagements. Some of our students are interested also in moving on into the science communication master's degree, which we also run. Most of our coursework is assessed by the exams, essays, projects, and in some cases, entirely through the coursework within the semester. Okay? So I'll give you a list of units you're running for the next year, which is something you want to keep in mind as you start looking for your options. I would say that all of these units are listed as optional modules for most of Faculty of Life Sciences programs now. You've probably seen some of these, but I'll just quickly go through them. What you see on the screen is the name of that unit and an outline of the content and the person who will be teaching it next fall or spring 2016 and 17. This is From Cholera to AIDS. This is a global history of epidemics run by Professor Pratik Chakrabarti, our new edition. And this is roughly the list of topics that you will be looking at. As I said, most of these courses are based on the readings and, in terms of assessment, either writing an essay or doing an extended research project of up to 3,000 words, roughly about 7 to 8 pages. Okay. Science, Media, and the Public, very popular course, looking at the ways in which science engages with the public and how science is represented in the media. For those who are interested in pursuing more of a science journalism and science communication, this is a very important and foundational course. And Jeff has been running this course for many years with great success. Many students really come out almost completely changed. They want to do something else in their career once they find out in the ways in which science is structured and sometimes manipulated by the media. The Information Age is a history of computing, the 20th century computing, and James Sumner is our course leader for this course. You'll see that there are some really interesting and quite extraordinary lecture topics in that course, and I think you may consider looking more closely at this. By the way, all the information about units is available through the university website and also on the website of our center, which is Center for the History, Science, Technology, and Medicine. Also, there is a course called Crisis of Nature, which is environmental history that I've been running for the last 10 years or so, and it's now becoming very popular. We're looking at various issues that affect modern societies, starting from the creation of the so-called risk society to more specific things of climate change, water, oceans, overfishing, plastics, war in the environment, pollution, and so on and so forth. And if you decide to switch the program and become part of the small family of Biology with Science Society students, you will then be guaranteed to take the Research Skills module, which covers some of these methods and approaches for doing history and sociology and science studies, which is a broad field that enables you to use your scientific knowledge and engage with larger societal and even political issues. We also supervise second-year dissertations, and I've asked my colleagues to send me the titles of the dissertations from this year, and you can see some really, I hope, interesting titles. Okay? Looking at the history of animal models in psychiatry, ethical issues raised by IVF, heat stress and urban justice and obesity in the Pacific Islands, which I'm supervising. Very proud to say it's an extraordinary topic, and the students will actually be able to go to Fiji to do some field work with the medical practitioners there. And also some of the more other medical and non-medical topics such as the oil spills and so on. Okay. If you have any questions, please do get in touch. This is my email. And also, please do visit the webpage of the program if you're interested to find out more about the program itself. Thank you. Is it okay? Good.
Hello, it's great to see you all again. Some of you I've already seen earlier on in your first year. My name's Elizabeth and I'm from the Career Service. I'm here to get you thinking about beyond your first year. Okay? So I've got one trick question for you. I've got one secret to career success. I've got 5 steps to a fantastic summer and how we can help you as well. Okay? Oops. For goodness sake. Right. My question, have you decided on a career yet? How many of you have decided on a career yet? Hands up. Okay. That was my trick question. You're already in your career, whether you think you've decided or not. Yeah? You didn't realize, but your career is just the way that you navigate through the world. In fact, think about it. You've already done fantastically well at school and college. You've chosen to do a degree, so you chose that part of your career. You chose to come to the University of Manchester. You managed to get here. You chose to get onto a life sciences degree with the potential to change the world with the stuff that you're learning now. And you've managed to get this far through your first year. I think you've done pretty darn well in your career so far. You are already a success, okay? So don't feel that you can't do anything with your summer because you haven't decided what you want to do yet. It's just the next stage of your career. So I'll help you take you on to your next stage. So that's my trick question, okay? One secret to career success. Can any of you remember this diagram? Probably not. But it's one of the most important diagrams I have ever created. It's about how our graduates get into great graduate jobs quickly after they finish their degree. We've done our research, and this is what they do in order to make those quick transitions into fantastic next steps. It's explore, it's communicate, it's connect, it's reflect, it's apply. I'm going to talk you through how you can make that work for you over the summer. Now, this is really important if you're going to be thinking about doing one of those placements, because the stuff that you do over the summer will help you with your applications and interviews to get into those placements. If you're not going to go and do one of those placements, this is really, really important, because what it will do is it will set you up for whatever you do the following summer. This is how you're going to get the really fabulous summer internships after your second year. So, start out with Explore. Over this summer, the most important thing I could suggest that you do is you find some sort of work. Nikki's already told you about how employers really value work experience. But there are many, many things that you could be doing. You could find some work, you could volunteer, doesn't have to be paid work. You could do some paid work, which is pretty routine, but then do some volunteering afterwards. Main thing is try something new. There is no point in doing same old all summer. You've got to constantly be moving forward in your career. And some of the things you could think about doing, if you want to get onto one of those placement programs or one of those field trips where you're going to go and cuddle sloths in Costa Rica, the thing you need to do is actually get some money. So you might be doing some routine work over the summer, which is just going to pay you lots of money. But you can still do something amazing and new. You could learn to code. Okay? Big data is where life science is going at the moment. That's where all the demand is for employment, or a lot of the demand. If you can code or understand people who can code, that's going to help you. You could do that in your spare time. You could create your own project. Employers love people who use their own initiative. Go and do a project on the biodiversity in a piece of local wasteland near to where you're living over the summer. Those kind of things will give you something to talk about at interview and put on your applications when you come to apply for placements, for summer work next year, and for graduate jobs finally. Okay. So Explore is really important. How are you going to get that work? Well, you can ask for that work and ask for it right now. I've actually just written a blog post on Man Union Careers blog about how do you get summer work? How do you get it at this time of year, and how could you use your Easter vacation to improve your chances of getting some summer work? And very often, summer work isn't advertised. It's down to you, maybe using contacts or approaching people directly. If you approach them now, then you can say, I'm going to be at home over the Easter vacation. Could I come and drop in and talk to you over the Easter vacation to find out if you've got any opportunities over the summer? Or I could be available for interview over Easter. So there are lots of things you can do right now to generate those opportunities which will get you something really interesting over the summer. We've also got the work experience booklet for life sciences. So please do have a look in there for lots of opportunities that you can take up. Over the summer, find people that you can learn from. All that connecting, that networking, it isn't about schmoozing people on the golf course. It's about being humble enough to learn from other people. So anybody that you meet over the summer, ask them what their work's like. Ask them what they love about it. Ask them what they hate about it. And start to figure out what's going to work for you. What do you care about? Really important to keep a record of what you've done, because you will forget. So try to find some way of logging what you've done over the summer, so that you can start to use that when you're coming to write applications for placements or whatever. And so you've got a record of what you've completed. And I'm going to give you an interesting way to keep that record. And I think very, very important is learn to tell your story. You have to have an engaging story to tell, but you need to be able to tell it in a way which is going to engage other people who are going to choose you for a placement, going to allow you to do a PhD, all these different things which are going to help you, whatever you do, for the next stage in your career. Okay. So I'm going to give you one quick, interesting way to reflect and to record and to tell your story. I want you to make it memorable. I'm going to need my phone to be able to do this. I've come across an app, 1 second every day. Anybody else use it yet? Okay. I would like you to be my 1 second today. Okay. That's you recorded. That's my record on video of the 1 second that I'm going to record today. If you could do that every day over the summer, you will have a record of what you've done with this summer. Now, for a start off, you're going to absolutely love it in 20 years' time when you look back and see your 1 second every day of that summer while I was at university. But just as importantly, it's going to remind you that if you're on the 5th day of recording what you had for dinner, you better get out and do something interesting and new. At least learn to cook something new, okay? So that's one way of triggering you, trying to remind you, every day counts. I'm going to make something new happen today. The more that you can focus on that, the more you're going to come back after the summer with some fantastic experiences and some great stories to tell. Okay, how can we help? Well, how many of you have logged into CareersLink? Your careers account? You see, you life scientists, you're not very good at logging into this thing. This is how you find out all the secret stuff that we keep just for University of Manchester students. This is where all the vacancies are. I checked this morning. We had, there were over 100 adverts for casual, seasonal, vacational work over the summer, using the keyword summer. Okay? All live now, waiting for you to apply for them. Get in there. We want you to have those opportunities, not people from Birmingham and London, from Manchester. Okay? We've got information on over 10,000 organizations. If you want to find an organization, say in life sciences or in your local town, to apply to find out about summer work. Got that information in there. We run careers events. That's how you're going to find out about them. That's how you're going to find out about all the vacancies that we advertise and how we can give you more support, particularly if you want to look overseas. We've got a whole section on going global. It's not just about data, though. It's about real people. Many of you will have seen Suzanne or seen myself or Sarah. We come along to the Stopford building and do appointments in the Stopford building, or you can have appointments in University Place, literally just along the corridor in the atrium. If you haven't been there yet, go and hang out there. It's a really nice place, quite quiet. You can have nice comfy sofas and a place to work. You can also get careers appointments there. Okay. We've got our careers website, which is available 24/7. We'll have these slides available with the links all clickable. We've got Facebook group for life science students where we're feeding out information about any vacancies or opportunities that we come across. We've got our Twitter feeds. How many of you are on Twitter? Somebody. Hey, I've got 3 accounts. You know, it's the way that we find out all our information and feed it out to you. So we're telling you about stuff all the time. Don't miss out on it. And we've also got our careers blog. And as I said, the careers blog is where I've literally, in the last week, I've blogged about how, as a first year, you can find summer work experience by doing something this week before your Easter vacation. Okay. We'd love to support you with all this. If you've got any questions, then please do come and talk to me afterwards. We'll also be available in the Stopford building on Friday, I think. Suzanne's going to be there. I'll now pass you back to Nikki, and she can just wrap up for you.
Okay, right, well, that's the end of the what's to expect in your year 2. So if you want to get a program change form, Linda has got them over there. and head off to the Whitworth Hall to the Change of Degree Programme Fair. Thank you. Oh, if you haven't signed the register, Linda's saying, can you make sure you do that on your way out? Thank you. And you need to get Jen to do it as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So you could get that from the Change of Degree
Yeah.
Programme Fair. Should be there. Hello?
Alright.
Ask a question about, I'm on the joint honours course, so
Course Neuro, okay.
psychology. How does it differ for us to that for next year kind of thing? Like how many options, do you know how many optional things we have?
Or you'll have to look at your private learning options. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll have to go and look on the product chart.
I just find it so difficult to keep up and what's different and what's
I know.
why
I mean, that is the problem. It's very generic.
Yeah.
Standard, and yours is a bit unusual.
Yeah.
All you can really do is the things which are great to highlight. That's the most important thing to do. Isn't it Helen Bale?
Oh, that rings a bell. That's probably her.
So you've got to speak to your program director. And
Okay.
if they don't know, they should.
Right, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello.
When you're talking about changing degree program, I'm on environmental sciences right now. And when you put second degree, do you mean employability classes? Okay.
Do biometrics.
Okay. Well, right now there's nothing that I know. Okay. And also another thing, when it comes to personal tutors next year, is it when you said the relationship you have with the tutor, do you mean personal relationship? Okay. When you said the the amount of roles you actually have.
Hiya.
Oh, no, this chap has been patiently waiting.
Sorry. Can you see fingers glove on the floor? Fingers glove? Yeah. I'll find it. Back over there. Oh, I've one falling on the floor. I want to go.
I mean, during